Okay.
Good
All right.
morning, masterminds. Good morning. I hope you are good. You already know what to do when you come into the house. You must like, you must subscribe, and you must share. And as promised, remember, I've watched this documentary of Netflix, Nandi Ba and now Beauty and the Bester. I've watched it, and I must say I'm very, very disappointed, because I thought that they are also going to address the issue of Katlego Bereng, because Katlego Bereng was the victim who was used as a sacrifice for Thabo Bester to get his freedom. I thought there was going to be more information about Katlego Bereng, and to my disappointment, and in my opinion, it seems like the entire documentary was to portray Nandiba as a victim in everything that happened. So I have the father of Katlego Bereng, Mr. Batu Bereng, and we spoke, and I wanted to know, I was curious to know, what is the situation currently? Where are they with the issue of the son who got missing and whose body was later identified as the person who we were told was Thabo Bester, who committed suicide in his cell. So he's going to tell us, since they found out that it was actually their son's body, up until where we are now with this Netflix documentary, what happened? Good morning, Mr. Bereng. How are you?
Good morning, Sis Pet, and your viewers, your followers. We are trying as a family, even though we are a bit disappointed. Our current government is failing us. The justice system is failing us. Why am I saying that? I believe everybody knows that our son went missing. And only after a year, it was discovered that, the body that was used in Thabo Bester's escape was that of our son. And to my more disappointment, is the fact that we reported a missing person report because our son never got sick, as the state claimed. We reported a missing person. We opened a missing person report when we found that he's missing. And, as things unfolded, we followed up. And then we understood that the last day that my son went missing, he left with his friend who stays, in the neighborhood, who does not longer stay there anymore after discovering that he's missing. And to my disappointment, it was when the NPA withdrew the murder charges, even though the autopsy, shows that there was a blunt trauma force, my son was killed, but, that was brushed aside. Why? Because, every man has a price. In this case, money played a vital role for people to lie through their teeth, even for the murder charges to be withdrawn against those who were first accused. Then the question is, how do you withdraw murder charges even when the death certificate shows that this was an unnatural cause? The cause of death is unnatural. And there is an autopsy that shows that this person was killed. And suspect you can relate my son's murder to the murder of the recent boy who was killed in prison, same style. And where it was, they gave the same message that the boy was collapsed, the same way they say my son collapsed. But when the autopsy was done, it was still a blunt force trauma on him as well. So you can see that these people, they have one style, execution style of killing, of committing murder, which is blunt form atrocious. That was found on my son, but everything, the murder charges were brushed aside, and we are no longer in the picture. It's only when they mention something about my son, it was that they violated a corpse. They violated a body. But now the question is, how did my son's body end up in the G4S premises? Our son was killed, but everything is just brushed. And I was so angry as well when I was listening 2 days ago, their case against Netflix, when the lawyer was saying people will portray Thabo Bester as the person who escaped. But now, at the back of their mind, they forget that, behind this escape, there is a grieving family.
Yes.
Behind this escape, there is injustice to us as the family. Sis Pat, I went to a point of using my contacts to get hold of the Minister of Health, Dr. Aaron Motsoaledi, who referred me to the MEC of Health in the Free State. On the 24th of June, we went there to have a meeting, because my point was, I am not happy about the report that they are giving us as the family, which is not true. But well, even if we can take what the state says is the truth, the fact of the matter is that if they say my son died in a hospital, my question was, how did they allow somebody who is not related to my son to take his corpse, to take his remains? Because, after all this thing unfolded, after it was known that it was our son, when we went to claim the remains, because Katlego's mother was married, she's using a married surname, and Katlego was never on my surname. She's still using the mother's maiden surname. Now, we had to look for a relative who shares the same surname as Katlego, as the known parents at that time. Now, my question against the Department of Health was, if after everything unfolded, after it was known that it was our son, that we had to have a relative using the same surname as Katlego to claim his remains. Now, why was it easy for Dr. Nandipa to gain access of my son's body? The department didn't give me, a right question, answer. They didn't answer us correctly. They didn't even take responsibility that, yes, we hear what you say. This is our point. Their point was that we must wait until the case is over. And I said, when will the case be over? Because even if everything is set, even if the trial can start tomorrow, they will never mention how my son body was removed from the government mortuary to be used. It will always be violation of the corpse. There is nowhere where we fit in as the family in this case. Everything is about Thabo Bester. Everything is about Nandipa. There is no way where we fit in. We wanted the department to take responsibility to say, yes, according to our reports, your son's body, your son died in our premises, and somehow somebody somehow was paid to release his body to other people who are not related to him. As much as they are lying to us about his death, they also don't want to take responsibility of what they are claiming, to say now there is a gray area here where something went wrong, where we didn't do right to the family, and the family has the right to complain. Now, everyone wants to be politically correct, which, it is a burden to us. On the 17th of September last year, somebody recommended a lawyer to us. We met with the lawyer, we opened a file, we stated our case with him, and he said, no, he will take the case. And he said he will come back to us in two weeks. On the second week, they demanded a deposit of 4,008 to start the case, of which as the family we paid. And that was the last time we heard from them. In February this year, I came across a clip from other media talking about this escape where the correctional services went wrong. I sent it to this lawyer, and then instead of replying to me, he just sent me a question mark. Then I waited a week. A week after, I said to him, you haven't come back to us. So I'm trying to give you as much information as I can so that you can have a case to continue with this. He then said, I will come back to you. It took him another 4 months waiting. I think in May, I then sent him with his secretary. I sent them a correspondence. I said, guy, why did you agree to take this case, knowing that you will never go ahead with it, knowing that you will ditch us, or knowing that you will receive bribe so that you can just set this case aside? Why did you do that? They never answered. You know, up until after a few days, I then sent them a message. I said, if you don't pay me back what you asked me to pay, the 4,800, if you don't pay me back, I'm taking this conversation to the media. I then said, I'm giving you 24 hours. If I don't see anything, I'm taking our conversation to the media because I've been communicating with you guys. You never communicated back to me. I think a few days, that's when they paid me back. Now you can ask yourselves, Spet, that even when the lawyer can do this to us, where is our hope? Who can help us? You know, it is a very devastating situation, you know, whereby if I'm saying the state failed us is understatement. You know, I don't know how to describe this. This is unacceptable. This is wrong. This is inhuman treatment that we are getting.
It's indeed inhuman treatment. And I'm shocked that the murder charges have been withdrawn. That tells me that the police decided that they're not going to investigate the fact that Katlego was murdered. That tells me that even the boy that you mentioned, Mpo was his name. I watched the portfolio committee session. It was I think it was on Wednesday when I watched it. And the management of G4S is so arrogant. They are so arrogant in front of that committee. I remember they were just as arrogant when they appeared in front of the committee back then with this issue of Thabo Bester'S. I remember Becky Katlego was there. I remember the Provincial Commissioner of Free State was there. The management was there. And they were completely arrogant. They refused to respond to questions. Now we come to the situation where even the DPP has become arrogant. And you know what? My problem with the DPP is this. I've been saying this over and over and over again. Why do we give the power, so much power, to one person to decide that I am not going to investigate, I am not going to prosecute these charges, I will only proceed with these charges because prosecuting these charges is not beneficial to me as the state. And now we have also lawyers. You know what? I have a problem with lawyers in Free State. Lawyers in Free State are so corruptible. They can be paid just like that, and they will draw. I have experienced that. I've experienced the same. Now tell me, Katlego's mother, how is she handling all this?
Yours is pet. She's undergoing treatment because she was attacked by stroke. She first had a depression, And, she was attacked by mild stroke, but she recovered. But to tell you the honest truth, even when we met the MEC of health in Bloemfontein, she couldn't. She broke down. She couldn't handle it. She broke down. She's taking this. It's sad, sister. It's very sad. She's undergoing treatment as we speak.
I don't even want to imagine what you as a family are going through. Now you are being reminded of that horror. Death. No one deserves to die like that. And no family deserves to be pushed out by the government like that. Not getting any answers. Not being assisted, being told that you must accept. You must accept because we as a government, we cannot entertain you. We are not going to entertain the fact that we as a government, we have proof, we know that your child have been murdered. And we as a government are not going to entertain these charges. I don't even want to start to try and understand what you as a family are going through. But what I want to say is, as government, especially in Free State, we have so many unsolved cases in Free State. You know what? When this case started, I got information on this case. And I shared the information with people that I thought are the relevant authorities. Remember, they are the authorities, are the relevant authorities. Just to find out that the same information that I shared with them, they share the information with people who went after the sources, who shared the information with me. And that's when I realized that if we want to have things done in this country, we must come together and we must do it ourselves, because our government is not prepared to assist us. You went to the police station, you opened a case. And it almost seemed that in all this, G4S are being protected. It seems like G4S are being protected. Because why are the management of G4S not also accused persons in this case? They cannot tell me they didn't know, or after they found out that management of G4S was negligent. Why would they not also charge? In the same situation with the case of Mpo. Management of G4S was standing right there, watching and giving instructions that Mpo should be beaten up. They were there. And then what they did, they covered it up. They covered it up. And still now, management of G4S is not in court. Only the ones who was assaulting are in court. But the masterminds, you know what, we have a problem in South Africa where the masterminds are the most protected. They are the ones who are going to be protected. The ones who receive the instructions to say, go and do this, they are the ones who will take the fall for the masterminds. And it's so heartbreaking to find that 2 years along the line, you as a family cannot even be assisted by a lawyer in a civil claim. And we must name and shame. The time that we protected these people to say, we are not going to tell, we are afraid to tell because this lawyer failed you. He should have told you from the beginning that I'm afraid or I cannot do it. And the only assumption that we can make now is this lawyer got something somewhere. There's an assumption, there's an allegation. But this lawyer should have been honest with you. And the fact that he paid your money back so easily, not even having the decency to tell you that, you know what, I can't do this case. I can't do this case because of what and what and what. Just the fact that he was so silent on you, not even as a lawyer with professional ethics, or supposedly, he's supposed to have that professional ethics to come to you as a client and say, you know what, because of this and this and this and this reasons, I will not be able to proceed with this. And as I say, we must name and shame them so that the ones who comes after you must know. You must not go to that lawyer because he doesn't even have the decency to consult with his client. Now tell me, now that the state has failed you and decided that they are not going to proceed with a murder case because apparently your child was not murdered. He just found his way into a cell 35, the infamous cell 35. He just found his way into that cell, regardless of the pathology report of the blunt force we showed, and it also showed there was no smoke in his lungs.
Smoke in his lungs.
Meaning that he didn't die from the smoke inhalation. He was already dead. Now, there was when this investigation around how Katlego landed himself in G4S, it was said that Katlego collapsed at the taxi rank, and he was transported with an ambulance to the hospital. Now there was this journalist who digged and she digged and she digged and she digged and she went to the hospital and she went and it was found there was no records of Katlego ever being admitted in National Hospital. There was no records of Katlego ever been fetched by the ambulance and transported to the hospital. Meaning that he was murdered and his body was then transported. And then the police is saying to you as a family and to us as South Africans, this is not a murder. This is not a murder. It's only violation of a cause. We are here now. We don't know how many people before Katlego have been subjected to this. We don't know the unknowns because we saw that Nandiba executed this action with accurate precision, as if she was used to doing this. As if it was not the first time she was doing this. The precision in which she did all this. Just imagine going to claim a body, burying meat and horse, burying maize, claiming a body in. It can't be. The way she executed it tells me, I'm not an expert, but it tells me that it might not have been the first time this was done. It's just because it was Thabo Bester's. Now we ask ourselves, how many bodies have been removed from mortuaries and taken to G4S? For influential people to be set free.
Ask that again.
For influential people to be set free. How many people are still looking for the bodies of their families? We need to go back and ask ourselves these questions, because it seems like G4S What is happening in G4S needs thorough investigation. You understand? And there are employees, current employees and former employees of G4S who are talking. They are talking. They are telling us stories. The things that we are going to expose. It's like a horror movie. These books that we used to read and we didn't believe. But what I wanted to ask you, currently now, you don't have a lawyer. Because what I know is, like I said in Free State, lawyers are so easily corruptible or afraid of those in power. So what do you want? What are you asking from brave, ethical lawyers out there? I'm talking about lawyers who are not afraid of the truth, who are not afraid to stand there and say that regardless of the consequences, I'm going to be here to give justice to the state. What is your request to those lawyers?
Yesterday, I was talking to someone based in Bloemfontein, whom it was recommended to Monica by somebody. I think that lawyer helped somebody with the hospital issues and so forth. Even though I was reluctant, Sisped, what I need a woman of integrity to help us. Because there are a lawyer that I found this side in Gauteng, but now it's going to cost us, because for a meeting, the family from Bloemfontein has to come down. Even Katlego's baby mamas have to be part of that meeting. So it's going to cost the family a lot, which we don't have. Those are the people that can help, but now for them to help us is going to cost us a lot of money when they have to come down from Bloemfontein to a meeting. Whereas this side, I'm the only person who can move around, and I can easily move around if I am alone. So I just said we will use those lawyers as the last resort. But I'm appealing out there for God-fearing lawyers, for men of and women of integrity, because what we want is justice. Because I went as far as even trying to communicate with the Minister of Correctional Services, because I wanted to handle this out of court, thinking I will meet people with right senses. I will meet people who understand life, to say, okay, we understand your cry as a family, let's talk. But then, and also, Sisped, let me go back a little further, back to our meeting with the Department of Health. You won't believe that in that meeting, there was a doctor who claimed that he's the one who received Katlego when he was transported to the hospital. He's the one who dealt with Katlego. Just made me angry. I said, I don't want those kind of reports because they are not truth. Now you can see how this movie was planned from the beginning. It was not planned in 1 year. It was not planned in 2 years. It was planned a long time. And they found their target a long time. Why am I saying they found their target? Look at the documentary now that was released recently. The initials TK Nkwana. What does T stand for in there? What does K stand for in those names? You'll find that because if I remember T stand for Thomas or something, but K stand for Katlego. So you can make up your mind as a person who think to say that means this thing has been planned for a long time, and Katlego was identified long before he can even knew that he was identified. This thing was planned a long time, And most people have been paid to play part in this movie, to play part in this role. You know, imagine a doctor, someone who is a professional, lying through his teeth that he received Katlego and examined him. He had fits, he had did, he has that. A doctor, qualified doctor, lying through his teeth.
While there is no
You
records.
can just imagine.
While there is no records of Katlego
You can
ever
say that
being
again.
received at that hospital.
Exactly.
And you know
Exactly,
what you are
suspect.
saying?
Exactly.
That this thing was planned. It was planned, and Thabo Bester have been telling them. I'm no fan of Thabo Bester. But it seems like he is willing to come out with the truth. Remember, there was a time when he said to the judge to say, release these people. Put me there on the stand,
yes,
so that I can tell everyone who assisted me. Why is everyone saying I escaped? Because if you look at that video, you see that Thabo Bester was given uniform, and he was assisted to work out of the prison.
Yes.
And he has been saying, why are they delaying when you know what, the state could have been done with this case a long time ago. If they want the truth to come out. Because Thabo Bester has been saying, we know politicians are involved here. We know politicians are here. We know about a lead investigation officer who committed suicide. We still need answers around that. Why would a lead investigation officer in the Thabo Bester, why did they even threaten some of the, I know about someone whom I'm very close to, Nastasia Janssen, who were threatened by the prosecutor to become a Section 204 witness and change a statement. Why did, and the state knows that G4S deleted some footage.
Yeah.
And the information is, the gate was opened by one of the managers of G4S for Thabo Bester to work out.
Yes.
Now the people who knows the truth have become enemies of the state. The state doesn't want to hear anything from them. The state doesn't even want to entertain, even the investigation officer in this matter doesn't want to entertain those ones who gave statements and say this is what actually transparent. Those statements are not in court. Those statements are not in court of what actually transpired that night. But we will dig and we will dig and we will dig. And I also want to request, humble request, to men and women of integrity who are still willing to honor the oath of office, the oath that they made, to say that I'm going to become a lawyer because I want justice. This is the appeal of Katlego's father. I understand that the family is, that their situation is dire. They don't have the finances to go up and down to Joburg. And why must we have lawyers from, so is there no men and women of integrity very close to them? Or pro bono, is there no pro bono lawyers out there to help this family to get justice for their son? Because this was not just a violation of a corpse. He was killed. Blunt force trauma at the back of his head. He was killed. We might be forced to accept the decision of the DPP to say, I'm not going to prosecute murder cases now. Not in my interest to prosecute murder cases. They have their reasons. unbeknown to us why they decided
Yeah.
that Katlego doesn't deserve, his case doesn't deserve to be convicted as a murder case. They have their reasons, unbeknown to, but one day we will know why they made these decisions. Because you know what, when you are in power, you can decide today. You are the God of everyone. You own everything. You can decide who gets prosecuted and who doesn't get prosecuted. You can decide who are you going to protect and who are not going to be protected. We know this case of Thabo Bester is deep. And as long as Thabo Bester are not being put on the stand to tell us who was involved in this, we will never know the truth. And I can see in that court that everyone is blocking Thabo Bester. He must not come and name. He must not come out and name everyone.
Yes.
Because he was not alone.
Yeah.
He was not alone. But we are going to end it here. Katlego's father, his parents is out, his mother is not well. Please, lawyers out there, please come forward. Can you please just share your number if you are willing to share your number so that they can contact you directly?
Overseas Pet, my number is 072 635 6879.
Can you just repeat it again?
072 635 6879.
Thank you very much. We will be in contact, and I believe, I know, you will be called. You are going to call me and tell me that this bad woman and men of integrity came forward and they called me, and we are going to get justice. That's all I'm telling you. We will get justice. Just hang in there. We will get justice for Katlego.
Thank you, Sister.
Masterminds, we are going to end it here. Very painful story. But we cannot leave it like that and look the other way. We cannot leave it like that and look the other way. I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to be there